And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the DLLS Stars Pregame Show, Stars After Dark, back-to-back style, which sounds like it could be interesting or inappropriate, and that sort of fits our show, doesn't it? Alongside Sam Nessler and Craig Ludwig, who's smirking on that line, and that's why we love him, and our producer, Ryan Butters. I'm Owen Newkirk. Thanks for joining us. Oh, look, it's Lucifer. He's joined the chat. Before we get into it, tonight, it is hat time. Lud says we confirmed. I'm losing it already. And we have confirmed that Luds has actually placed his order. Who knows when it will be shipped, but those hats are available right now. All DLLS.com. They're great looking. That Dallas Stars hockey version of the green with the star behind it. That one's really sharp. And as Lud says, the one on the left looks like it's a automotive from Cadillac. He's not wrong, but there we go. DLS hats. Check them out. Buy them now. Great gifts for the holidays, or you know what, maybe even after the holidays. Okay? So
whenever you get it.
Whenever you get it, you'll love it. All right. Big news of the day is twofold. We'll start with the lineup news, and then we'll talk about the injury updates. Well, they're both sort of injury versions. But Sam, let's start with Adam Erne. Activated from LTIR. He will play tonight for the first time since November 11th against the Ottawa Senators. That was his last game. He missed 18 games after having what we heard was knee surgery. It's a little over 4 weeks. So again, I'm not a doctor and I'm not trying to play one on TV, but I'm guessing this was probably some sort of arthroscopic procedure, just like Connor Hellebuck had, because this isn't an ACL repair, MCL. Like, those are just way long. And we'll get into that in a minute. But what are your thoughts on Erne coming back, playing tonight, and who he's coming in for, Colin Blackwell, who will be a healthy scratch to make room?
Yeah. Erne had a good run. He made the team kind of, out of injury as well, but he was playing well enough to stay in the lineup. And we talked a lot about it in training camp and stuff. He had this hip surgery that Sagan had the same day as Tyler Sagan, and he said he's never felt better. So it's almost like we still don't really know what he's capable of right now. And he was filling in nicely. I'm curious to see where his ceiling is, because, is he just Nathan Bastian, kind of that level where he's going to be an extra, he can fit in there, or can he help one of these lines do something, maybe produce a little bit? He's a big body. He provides a little bit of that physical element. So it's just good to see that we are now down to two guys that are out for a long time. Two guys.
Healthiest the Stars have been basically since training camp.
Yeah, so it's great. The only downside of it is Nathan Bastian, as we talked about yesterday, is still going to sit. I think it's just 7 straight games for him, but it's a good problem to have these guys needing to sit because you have extra bodies.
What's your feeling about what Adam Erne brings? He's 14 games this year for the Stars, 2 goals, 1 assist. The one that really stands out to me is for a bottom 6 guy, he's a plus player, +1, which is step 1 when you're in that role. Don't be a minus player. But he also added a couple of points, and Sam said physical. He's not 6'5", but he plays a very stout style of game.
Yeah, he's like a half barrel rolling down the ice. I mean, he's girth. I mean, I'm not saying he's heavy. I'm just saying he's a big body.
Yeah.
He understands. What I like about Adam is that he knows what he has to do to stay in the lineup and be an effective player in the lineup. He goes to the front of the net. He's got good speed for what he is. So it's just, and right now, I think when, the question that you asked Gully the other day about, some of the guys maybe trying to emulate the top guys as far as maybe passing a little bit too much, Adam Erne's not going to be that guy. He knows what he's going to do. He's going to get pucks to the net. He'll drive the net, and he'll get, like I said, he's a north-south player. We've got guys on this team that are east-west players, and a lot of times I'm not into that, but these guys are because they're really damn good at it. So that's fine. But I think it's that balance that you want to have with your group. And again, I think he's another guy for me. If there's somebody, 2 guys and a wing around that line, not maybe clicking a little bit, or you need a little bit of bite on it, I think Erne could go up, whether it's the top line or the second line. He could go up there for a few shifts and kind of change the tone.
I'm sorry for laughing in the middle of your point, because T.O. just called Ryan sexual chocolate, which, if you've ever seen the movie Coming to America, is objectively funny, and not just effectively funny, Sam. But I actually could get on board with that for Ryan. I don't know if he thinks that's good or not, but I could just see that jazz band on stage in the movie, Eddie Murphy movie, stomping his feet, yelling his band name. But anyway, Tyler Seguin, the other half of this injury story, these top two of today, and this one, Sam, does involve a much bigger, more involved surgical procedure than what we suspect is an arthroscopic for Erne, since he's back in just over 4 weeks. Seguin had successful surgery to repair his torn ACL in his right knee, and we found out today, the Stars released it, that he did it on Tuesday, and it was the same surgeon, Dr. Dan Cooper, who performed Patrick Mahomes' ACL surgery just a few days prior. And the big thing here is he is not yet going on season-ending LTIR, the new rule this year. If it was last year, Stars have full cap relief LTIR usage, and it doesn't matter whether Seguin could come back or not. Now they're saying we're going to wait until after the Olympic break to reevaluate. What is that? When you hear that, what are your initial thoughts, and what does that mean for Seguin and for the Stars lineup?
I was going to say the first thing is it just reminds you that they lose a good player for a long time, and we don't know when he's going to be back. But the initial thing is we knew what it was, but now it's official. We know he's gone through the surgery. We know what he's about to go through to get back. So that's the first part I think of. But the second part of it is, as you mentioned, Sean said it over and over on this show, you have to pay the money back this year. You can't ride the Mark Stone train and go into the playoffs and just throw him into the playoffs, or even, I mean, the Stars kind of have done that in their own way. So
sure, legally,
you only get a piece of it, and you have to pay what you use back. If you do if the player does return, he goes back on the salary cap. So it just complicates things to the point where they have to decide, is Tyler Seguin, I mean, I think realistically, second, maybe third round is your earliest possibility for Tyler Seguin. If he does do that, is that worth what they're going to then keep against their cap, which could help them find other players and things like that? I think it's going to be a decision, one on Tyler's health and the other on team stuff.
Lutz, I want to ask you a follow-up to that exact point, because I think the fact they say reevaluate it after the Olympic break is the signal that we already kind of knew from Jim Nill, but now you're getting it, almost saying it publicly, is that he does not have any intention to make any trades or acquisitions before the Olympics are over. So he knows where they're at for that stretch run.
Well, if Jim has full confidence that Tyler's going to come back, but should he come back, he's going to be a valuable player, because again, I'm the guy that you're one of 3 or 4 teams right now, in our opinion, that has an opportunity to win a championship. And if Tyler Seguin, if and when he comes back, versus adding a piece at some point here, I'm the guy. I would rather add a piece earlier than at that deadline, give them time to integrate and all that other kind of stuff, and you don't have to juggle around quite as much. And and again, where they're at with their cap and what's going to happen with Robo and all this other kind of stuff, it's probably going to be a rental anyways. So, but regardless of that, the money's money. And if there's a big player out there, I mean, would you take if you guys are knocking on the door and there's a guy in New York that's probably, who knows if he's going to sign there, but would you bring him in for 2 months?
Are you talking about Panarin?
He could be more of a problem than anything else just because of the style. But when I think about style, oh man, he could play with some of them top guys in this team too. So anyway, that's something that the management's got to decide on, and I would think that the coaching staff, or Belly in particular, may have an opinion on it. But to me, that's for me, that's the big thing, is that there's a piece out there and Tyler's not going to be available to the third round. My thing is, let's get to the third round. Then that's all good. So
Sam, what's your response to that?
The one thing I think about with Seguin is any part of this, not that the health side isn't all what it is, but is any part of this waiting and seeing kind of situation keep the other teams in the NHL in the dark a little bit? I think Sean wrote a little bit of this. I don't remember if it was on our site or on his site or whatever, of just the point of, maybe you just wait for both reasons. You're waiting to see if this is a realistic thing. You're waiting to see what your options are, but you also go into the Olympic break with no one really thinking knowing which way you're going. And I think that could help keep this team, where this is supposed to be a very competitive market at the trade deadline. Teams know what teams need, and there's going to be teams really close to each other in the standings in the Eastern Conference that aren't going to believe they are out of the playoffs. So they're not just going to sell everything unless they believe they're not going to make a run and try to get in the playoffs. Playoffs are everything in this league. So I think there's a little bit of both of those things that can help this team. But I'm with Luds. This is a rental if this team adds somebody. And so if you know Seguin is not coming back till third round, sure, play a little games, wait till after they break, but you need to make a move. You cannot try to just win with adding a bottom six forward and thinking that's going to do the trick, because this team has
don't play games though, because a couple of guys that you may have an eye on, there may be 3 other teams that have an eye on it too.
And Billy Guerin didn't play games with Quinn Hughes, did he?
Don't think that Billy's not looking for a centerman. I'm not saying that Dallas is looking for a centerman, but Billy Guerin is out there. I'm watching Colorado. I don't know if you're Colorado, if you actually want to do anything with that team. There, there's more teams in the East probably that feel like there's a that they could upgrade somewhere along the line here. So I'm just saying, I listen. Jim Nill is pretty damn smart, so yes. He's proven that. So I'm not 100% that he's just going to say, no, we're going to wait until, we're going to wait till the end of the season. I don't know.
I think you're both right. I think that, you know what? We don't have a lot of time left in the pregame show. We could do this whole thing talking about trade deadline and what they might do. Let's talk a little bit about this game tonight. A couple of tidbits that we've learned after the game last night in San Jose. The Stars became the second team in the NHL this year to reach the 50-point mark on the season. Colorado has 55. They're playing right now. It's the third fewest games in franchise history for the Stars to hit 50 points in a season, 35 games. Luds' team in 99, 98, 99, and the 15-16 Dallas Stars, that whopper of a team, both did hit the 50-point mark in 33 games. So this isn't the record, but pretty close. So all the more reason, with injuries and whatever else you want to say, this is the third fastest to 50 points in franchise history. I don't know if Jim Nill needs to jump on something right now, but let me ask you this, and we'll start with Luds this time. Jason Robertson, 0 points in his last 3 games after 17 goals in 13 of his previous 16 games. This is a mini slump for most people. It wouldn't even be a blip. For Robo, all of a sudden, this is notable.
Yeah, I think the same thing that I said earlier before Robo got that goal that got him on track. I had said, I think you start double shifting Robo. Get him out there with Wyatt. Get him out there with Duchesne.
Yep.
Get him out there with Hintz. Get him back into form. And again, I think for players like this, so much of it's a confidence thing, and he just has to feel good about his game. I want him to get a little bit closer to the net. I mean, there's games right now where I'm thinking, when the game's over with, I'm like, man, where was Jason tonight? Like, did he get close to the net? How many quality chances did he get? What was he doing? There's times when you see that effort, and he'll go in and he'll hit a couple guys. But I think there just needs to be. I want to see a little bit more hunger from him. I think that because when he was on a roll, everything was going great. He worked like he never worked before, in my opinion, going back to last year. And there was a different level of competitiveness in him because he could feel it. And right now, maybe he's not feeling it, but he's got to get that feel back, and he's got to remember, how did he get going after that first or second one?
And that's good to hear you say that, because a lot of conversation, at least with fans, is that he doesn't have, I forget the words they use for it, but basically he can't drive a line. He has to have someone that's going to get that puck out of the corner and get it to him. He doesn't like to go in the corner and win battles. And he's not a guy you're going to throw in there like Mikko Rantanen and think he's going to win every battle, but he doesn't shy away from stuff, at least in my opinion. So I'm interested that you say that he does have that effort, that a little extra to win those battles, because I've seen it too. But you're right. When he's scoring, either the puck is finding him like it does, or you look back at a lot of his shifts, he's winning a battle somewhere, or he's winning a race somewhere that he doesn't win when he's not scoring. It's just, he can flip it on and off. Luckily, mostly it's on.
Sam, when you say the pucks are finding him, when it was finding him before, he was inside that box that we're talking in front of the net. He wasn't finding him out here, on the perimeter of the rink in the offensive zone. So he needs to find ways to get there. And maybe he doesn't have to be, he's so good at finding space and coming in late. And if you play with Rantanen and guys like that, they find him. Maybe now he's got to do some driving in net. And again, I said it about Tyler a lot of times, especially on the power play in his day. I saw Tyler, since we're talking about Tyler before, Tyler, it seemed like when he had a goal drought, especially on the power play, and he's on that offside, on that left side, when he wasn't scoring, he'd drift closer and closer to the boards, which was getting him further and further away from the net. So it seemed like he had more time, and I think they feel like they have to have more time. And I'm talking like a goal scorer, but obviously we know that's. But I've seen how guys have gotten back on track before, and it's not from out here. And all it is an empty net goal, or it's a goal that went off their ankle and got him back. I think that's what he needs to have happen to him again.
All right, guys, up next, let's talk about goaltending. Got some great numbers for you. We got some clips from Gully and from Joel Quenneville about the Stars and Ducks tonight. We'll talk about the Ducks lineup. All that crammed into the last half of the pregame show after some really fun live reads from Luds and Sam here on the DLLS Stars Pregame Show.
This isn't really a read; it's more of a rant for me. But I'm gonna lay off of what I was gonna go with, because Owen sent me a text message today, and he was the detective on the case, and he found out that my thing did go through. Apparently, we just don't know when and where they're gonna come. But here are the hats again that I'm looking forward to getting at some point. It is the green one and the white one over there. And my boys will probably be happy if they find out where these hats are or what part of the planet they're on, so they can get here by next Christmas or whatever it may be. So they are good-looking hats. And I do want to go back, Ryan. Can we go back to the Finnish Mafia one time? Go back to that shirt for a second. I think these guys are going to be on it again tonight. And I do think that if they want to win this hockey game tonight, this group of guys has to be on it.
Hey,
Sam, take her away.
Look at that.
Look at that shirt.
There's the dude. There's a dude I run into
He was ready this time.
My daughter-in-law about 2-3 weeks ago on the other side of the room, sitting there or standing up, wobbling, standing over there. And I was like, wait, what shirt has he got on? There it is. And he comes over, and I just want to say, as I left the party, the last thing I saw was he was leaning against a recliner that was facing a TV. It was on the backside of the recliner. Last thing I saw was his legs go up, and the crack of his ass went rolling over the top of the chair and rolled into the living room as he fell over. But he did not spill anything out of that beer can he had. So that a boy, Rumble or what? Rumble, man. That sounds good. Rumble.
That's a diehard right there. That's a diehard.
Diehard.
Also join the supporters club, because it's pretty cool as well. You get emojis and stuff.
Hey, you got to give him the badges for Harry. He's waiting for it.
If you need stinking badges, you get exclusive badges as well, but you may not need them.
You need badges. All right, guys, let's talk about the Stars and the Ducks. First, here's just a quick clip for you. Here's Glenn Gullison talking about Adam Erne's return to the lineup tonight.
He's put in a lot of work, and the guy's put in a lot of work and was playing well for you before he went out. Yeah. And he's probably been even more ready now to play than he probably could have played a few days ago. Just wanted to get him back in. Big, heavy body, and it's a good time because back to back you can use some fresh legs with all the travel, so we want to give him a chance.
I thought it was interesting that he said he could have played probably earlier, and that's also a sign that the team is generally playing well and guys are healthy if they decide to hold out guys a little longer. And that's always a good sign for, when you're dealing with an injured guy. I think a little longer sometimes is safer than sorry, but he's, it's slightly longer than 4 weeks for Adam Erne. Now let's get to the Anaheim Ducks. And here's what Gully had to say about playing the young, high-flying Ducks.
It's the same as San Jose. It's line rush against. We have to limit the amount of rushes against. I think they're even a little deeper with some of their young talent, and so it'll pose a big challenge for us. I think that was the challenge last night. We didn't do a very good job of it. We addressed it today, and we need to be better with it tonight.
Okay, Luds, before you answer, Gully was asked about what they're going to do differently than last night. They're asking the players to do about trying to limit the line rushes against. Here's what he said about this tonight.
We asked our guys, all of our lines today, that we have to be better defensively, more conscious, win a few more battles, and stay above the puck a little bit, and not feed any transition. That was the key with San Jose last night, is we didn't want to make them excited in the trip, but we did, and Otter bailed us out there, and we got some timely scoring. We made some plays. We had great zone time, but we can't feed another team, and that's our own doing. So those are correctable things.
Okay, so the question to you, Luds, as you hear Gully say all that, is there a fine line between being cautiously respectful of an opponent and giving them too much respect and not attacking with what your strengths are?
Are you seriously worried about our guys not attacking with this team? Oh,
Fair point.
No, that I'm not worried about that. The important thing there, and it's a message for the players, is when he says stay above the puck. And to me, that's being directed at the defenseman. I mean, we've seen a couple plays now where whether it's Miro or Essa, Harley, that want to keep the offense alive a little bit longer than maybe it's those 50-50 chances that you're taking on the blue line, and next thing you know, you're chasing back to your own end. So to me, that's where it begins and ends. And I'll tell you what, I watched today. I watched Anaheim play Columbus from their last game. That team, that Columbus team, when Gully says they have a couple more, they have a couple more. They have more than a couple more. They play like the Rantanen, Hintz, Wyatt line, where they will get below the hash marks in front of the goaltender, and they will make 2 more passes. There's a lot of east-west in this game. And so, and again, with a coach that's won some Stanley Cups, he's seen some of that play, and he's allowing them to play that way. So I just looked at this game, and I'm thinking, this is going to be like a racetrack. This is a back and forth. And I think my first instinct is defensemen have to have their position. I look at that. And the other thing I looked at today is the power play. I mean, again, we saw some pretty talented kids last night, and a couple in particular, right? They've got a few more. The one thing that stands out is that I think it's Dallas. Dallas is 5th in the league when they're on the power play, giving up chances against.
Oh, geez. 5th most?
They're top 5 in giving up chances.
That's a bad stat.
Just Anaheim is number 1 creating chances when they're shorthanded.
Tied for the most shorthanded goals in the NHL this year with 6.
So this is an area where I think there should have been there probably was a conversation today about, listen, these guys can jump and fly. We're on the kill, and they're leaning forward, and they're fast and they're quick, and so we just have to be conscious of it.
And that
vein, Sam,
favor of the Stars, right?
Correct.
But on the flip side, Sam,
and not tired. Go ahead.
The Ducks are 27th in the league on penalty kills. So while they may be thinking about going the other way,
maybe the problem.
That's where I'm getting at.
Yes.
I still think the Stars power play should be a very dangerous thing, even for a Ducks team that's thinking about trying to score on the shorthanded chances.
Yeah, it's a deeper team. It's a better team, and they're showing that they're real. They're they have not that they're kind of average over the last 10 or so games, but this season they've been much better, and they're playing better hockey. It's not just they're scoring 6 goals a night and they're winning 6-5 games. But they still have a lot of those players. It's funny that Zegras left, but they have a bunch of mini Zegras kind of players that can play a little more of the hockey stuff that Zegras wasn't doing correctly at that time. But they have the skill. They love to do the dangles and the stick handles and all the stuff that the young players like to do. So I think that's what lends itself to that a little bit, because you'll see players jumping up at the blue line and thinking, oh, that guy has his head down for 1 second. Let's try to go. And not only that, if one guy attacks, let's say Heiskanen on the right side, their other forward is starting to fly out of the zone and try to go 2-on-1. So I think they get stuck, as Led said, not being above the puck, being in the wrong spot, and it leads to 4-on-2s, 3-on-1s in the backside.
It really tells me, to be honest with you guys, it tells me a lot how Joe Quenneville has evolved as a coach. Because when he was winning Stanley Cups in Chicago, they weren't a loose team. And I think he understands that the game has changed in a way. And this is now becomes part of the game. But, I mean, because what was the score in here? Wasn't it like 7-6?
7-5. Yep.
Yeah.
7-5. So he just continues to roll guys out there. So I think what good coaches do, they recognize what their strengths are and they play to their strengths. And so I just look at that and I see that's where I see this game being a track meet back and forth. So good luck, Casey. So it just
well, just think about this. November 6th, the Stars scored 2 goals in the first period. They were utterly dominant. It was one of their better first periods of the season. And then they gave up 4 second period goals and they were behind. In the end, they lost 7-5. They scored 3 times out of 5 power plays. but they also gave up 2 power plays against and a shorthanded goal against, one of the few that they've allowed against this year. So Miro had 4 assists. Wyatt had 2 goals and assists. Mikko had a goal and 2 assists, and they still lost 7-5. So they had the offense down, but can they contain them? Well, Ryan, let's show the Ducks lines, if you would, please, because as you guys both have said, there's more here, right? The San Jose Sharks have some nice, intriguing pieces, and obviously Celebrini looks fantastic. There's more, and it's more throughout the lineup, right? We know who Mikael Granlund is. He was injured the last time these two teams met, so he'll get to face the Stars for the first time since he played for them last year as a rental. And then, obviously, Leo Carlsson, Cutter Gauthier, Chris Kreider, Mason McTavish up top. You've got Granlund, you've got Terry. There's a lot going on in that forward group that's a lot more dangerous than we saw in San Jose last night.
Yeah, you look at their bottom 2 lines, and really Terry's the only guy. I mean, he's got 10 goals, but the other guys are in single digits. They're like 2, 3 in that neighborhood. It's the top 2 lines. I mean, they're top heavy, even though Clorn's only got a couple goals. But Gauthier, Carlson, McTavish, Petrano, they're guys that they're going to have to be aware of. And again, they're going to end up having last change tonight, right? So it'll be interesting to be able to watch and see how Gully wants to deploy his group back there. Although most of the time he seems like he believes more of the defensive pairing versus having 5 guys out there. So I think you've got to be a little bit more cautious against this team tonight.
All right, I have a defensive question for Luds, and then I want to talk goaltending with Sam for a minute. So let's go to the Ducks D first. And Luds, obviously, we know how you feel about Jacob Trouba, but Radko Gudas, their captain, is healthy now, and they have a pretty clear top 3 with Trouba, Gudas, and Jackson Lacombe. And then they have this 4-player rotation for their bottom 3, which is Minchikov, Moore, Hellison, and Olin Zellweger is the odd man out tonight, the healthy scratch. And Quenneville acknowledged that it's a rotation. They're trying to keep everybody in it. Some of it is performance-based, but they want everyone to play. And Luds, we've seen that before. That's not always a great recipe with young defensemen.
Yeah, I don't look at this as being a great deep 6. I look at what you said, and you talked about the 3 guys. Gudas, we know what Gudas is. Gudas is going to be a guy that is going to try to scare the hell out of you. He'll come at you. He'll step up on you. He's going to play that hard game against you. Trouba, again, unbelievable open ice hitter. So your head's got to be up with those 2 guys. And the Lacombe guy is more of that offensive juggernaut kind of guy that I believe gets up into the play and makes things happen. He's the guy that joins the rush a lot. Not that other guys don't there, but those are the 3, as you mentioned, to me, are what you've got to be conscious of when you're on, when you're Dallas and you're out there, knowing where especially Lacombe is offensively.
All right, Sam, let's talk about goaltending for a minute. We saw a stat from NHL Stats after the game that Jake Ottinger's win last night in San Jose was his 34th of the calendar year, most in the NHL. And look at the group, as obviously as you see Vasilevsky, Vejmelka, Kemper, Hellebuck, they all play a ton. So does Jake. That is really good company. From January 1st through to yesterday, Ottinger has the most wins. Part of that is he has a good team. Part of it is he's really, really good. So I wanted to compare that with Casey DeSmith because he's been great, but obviously he doesn't get the same number of starts that Jake has. So I looked at the top groups of those guys with wins and then compared their win percentage. Strictly, did they win the game versus how many starts they had? Forget the overtime points. And look at that. In the calendar year, Jake and Casey dead even, tied for 3rd best in the entire NHL. I think that says a lot. And one more stat for you, Sam. Save percentage. In the calendar year, minimum 20 starts. Casey DeSmith, 4th best in the entire league. I thought that was really impressive.
Yeah, and anybody that watches this team and us, especially Luds, who ranted about it all last year and this year, that's an earned stat from a goalie. That's a good team. This is a very good team that's been very successful, but it's not a team that just completely shuts teams down every night of the week and scores 5 goals a night. They were chickens with their heads cut off at times last year, trying to run around chasing people in their own end. And this year they have not played perfect defense. These are earned stats from a goalie. It's not a fluke that they're both up there. Jake has eliminated for the time being a lot of those one-off goals that have put this team in a bad spot. He's been playing as one of the best goalies in the world. And Casey DeSmith has just been so consistent. And we all know the starts he gets, the back-to-backs, all that kind of stuff. I was just looking at his stats He's he's second now, I think, in the NHL in save percentage of all goalies with 10 starts. After that, Edmonton game in early November, it's a 968 at home, shutout on the road, 939 at Calgary, 929 at Seattle, 938 at home, 927 in New York, 909 Winnipeg, 964 against the LA Kings. That's elite goaltending, and he has had to earn it at times. A lot of those numbers are in the 30s in terms of shots, and you look on the other side, the Stars are ending up with 18, 20 shots. It's just incredible to see, and it's scary to think that they, as much as we miss Scott Wedgwood in the room and talking, they may have found an even better duo than we thought they had with them.
Luds, I have one more translation project for you as we get ready to close out our pregame show. Couple of quick notes. The NHL holiday roster freeze takes effect at 11:59 Eastern time tonight, and it runs until Sunday, December 28th. So no players will be sent down. You can still call guys up if you need to, but guys will be locked in around the holidays. Also, Dallas 4-0 so far this year in back-to-backs on the second game, 4-0-1 in the first game through 5 of their 12 back-to-backs. But here's the project, Luds. Here's Joel Quenneville speaking this morning about the Dallas Stars. Tell us what you think about this.
They're a really good team. I think they're outstanding on their special teams, high-end skill, and they can make plays not just on the power play or penalty killing situation, but they're they've got some guys that are high-end players that we got to be aware of and try to neutralize that as best we can. But we gotta look to win that special team battle.
What coach hasn't said this?
Right, but he said special teams twice.
Of course, everybody knows that they got the number one power play in the league. I mean, Stevie Wonder can see that they're really good on the power play. Okay, like it doesn't. There's no secrets out here about this team, and you're going to hear this. You're going to hear that. What are there? 3 games before Christmas, right? You're going to hear it from every coach. You want to go ahead, they're going to say the very same things because it's true. I mean, it doesn't. To me, it's a waste of time. Like, this is how good they are. They're great on special teams. We know that. All you have to do is look in the book. Oh, yeah, they're pretty good. They're 36% or whatever they are. Here's my thing. There's 3 games before Christmas. There's 3. I didn't go that far.
He was close.
3 games before Christmas, okay? Dallas has got to find a way to win 2 of those 3, which they can do that because Colorado's got to play. Minnesota's playing Colorado. And they're going to win 1 of their games. I say Minnesota's going to win 1 of their games out of the next 3, okay? And I think going into Christmas, they can finish. Dallas can be at 55 points, I think it is, and Minnesota will be at 47. And I think that is your Christmas present from the standpoint of where you would be, but more importantly, where Minnesota's going. We're starting to see them taillights. They're getting
8 points is big.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be a huge gap, especially with a 3-point game.
Sorry, I said 49. I had 49.
Okay, so still 6 points. You just hope when those teams play each other, it's a regulation game. I hate the shared points where that third one shows.
So Minnesota's got Edmonton and Colorado.
Ooh,
right, back to back. So yeah. So those are, and then they got to play Nashville. That's right. They're playing Nashville on that third one. So I'm giving Nashville the win. And again, Minnesota's got some steam here. They end up doing well against those teams, and you come out of that Christmas break, and those guys are all talking about what we're going to do after the break. Dallas, all you can do is really take care of your own business. So you're going to have this is a little bit more tougher game than Again, I think you have to put an emphasis on this, and then obviously when they're back to back.
All right, guys, we are way past time, and that's great. Let's do a lot more post game. Stars and Ducks. It's the Victory Plus Bowl tonight. We will see you right afterwards. For Craig Ludwig, Sam Nessler, and Ryan Sexual Chocolate Votters, I'm Owen Newkirk. Thanks for joining us. We will see you for DLS Stars way after dark in the post-game show right after the game.
Yeah!